they'll charge you a consultation fee. Some of them want you to even pay them $200-300 before they even leave their office to come to your farm. And when they get to your farm, you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna look, pretend. Some of them don't even come with the proper tools to take any samples, right? They're just gonna say, oh, by visual inspection, this is the problem. And then when you do, they wait for your animals to die first, then they wanna charge you another $150 to do a post-mortem. And after you get the post-mortem, by the time all that stuff is done, something they could have stopped immediately, now you lost 10 goats.
Rise and shine, Value Farm family. Welcome back to another episode of The Farm. If you're new here, you are most welcome. Please consider subscribing if you haven't already, and also turn your notification bells on not to miss out on any episodes of The Farm. And of course, to all our returning subscribers, thank you so much. We really appreciate you, and we also appreciate you for always following our journey at Value Farm. Well, we are back at the farm. It's a beautiful day. The sun is up. It's good weather today, and at least, you know what, it is rainy season, but at least with some bit of sun, we are happy as farmers right here. Today we are going to be taking you guys through our farm routine. Of course, I have a surprise guest for you. Most of you have been asking me so many times, where is the co-director? Is he okay? But anyways, today we are right here, and we are going to welcome him officially, co-director back at the farm. And he has, of course, some things for us that he has brought for the farm as well. I'm really very excited. Grafton people have been asking for you. It has been overwhelming. People have been asking me whether maybe I killed you somewhere. Thank God you're back, because people are almost crucifying me on this channel, looking for you everywhere. You're most welcome.
Well, thank you. It's good to be back. Just want to say hi. I miss all of you guys out there too. I'm sorry if I don't sound like my usual enthusiastic self. I've been battling with the flu, and it's been killing me. I didn't even think I was going to make it to the farm today, but you know, we pushed through. But no, it's always good to be back at the farm. I just wanted to just make sure that we covered some stuff. And as a farmer here in East Africa, we've actually faced some real challenges this past, I would say the past 6-7 months here at the farm. Mainly because of what we always go through. And I know for me, as somebody who sees the world differently, my team and I, especially with our vet, we try to do everything we can to make sure we raise the best quality so that we can make it easier for you guys out there to get the best actual feeds. But just wanted to we're gonna get some B-roll. Just want to show you guys something really simple. Actually, I'm not sure if my friend here can zoom in on this, right?
Yeah.
These guys, this is not a sponsorship. They haven't paid us to do this. And most of this vitamins and stuff that you see here, this is a dewormer itself. The reason this is so important, right? So many farmers, especially with us, we've lost countless goats over the last season. And it's not because we haven't been trying. It's simply because the variety of medication to treat something as simple as worm and deworming your animals, right? The variety just does not exist here. You understand? And so because of that, everybody's here buying what's available on the market. But what's available on the market, let's face it, it's inferior. And most of the time, it's ineffective. It's ineffective for a number of reasons. A lot of these companies out here in East Africa, I'm sorry to say this, especially here in Uganda, there's so many fake medication on the market, and it's not regulated. I mean, maybe we do have a regulatory body that's supposed to regulate this stuff, but they're not doing what they're supposed to. You know, I'm not trying to upset anyone. I'm just keeping it real.
They actually do it, because I read somewhere yesterday, some farmer was also complaining about some of the issues that most farmers really silently suffer with in this country. Like the government has really tried to go for these counterfeit companies that bring in this medication here, but it's still failing to happen.
It's failing because when people, and that's the thing, I gotta say, I love my brothers and sisters here in Uganda. But here in Uganda, you know, a lot of people, they can be suffering. They could be losing their shirt. They will let you suffer too before they tell you about the ailment that they're facing. And the reason, listen, this is no secret, guys. Like, I literally just got back here a couple days ago. I was in South Africa for some time, but it's many of the farmers you see that have success with raising their goats, raising sheep in this country. You know what they're not telling you? 95% of those people, if not 100% of them, even some of the pig farmers that we know here, where are they getting their medicine from?
From Kenya, South Africa, that's where they get them from.
But they'll never tell you that. You understand? So companies like this, you know, like my vet here knows this because he's the one who requested these products from South Africa. That's why we came back with them. But I gotta be honest with you, as a country, Uganda has over 50+ million people. We have to be able to grow enough to feed the nation here.
Sure.
You understand? You can have a country as big as Uganda and growing ever so quickly, not have farming as a primary focus. And most of the money we make in this country comes from agriculture, right? And I've never seen such a thing where you have so many people depending on their livelihood on agriculture, but there's no streamline, there's no true regulation. The main regulation that exists here is what they keep people from bringing into the country. You understand? They don't want us to go to Kenya to get medication, which is effective, but the medication that we have here is ineffective. So at the end of the day, you can invest all the money you have, you can go out and find the finest breed of goats and sheep you can find, but if you don't have the supporting medication to keep those animals the way they're supposed to be kept, you're gonna end up losing. We lost almost 200 goats because literally we've been deworming, right? And we've been deworming with the local stuff here, okay, over time, and none of that stuff was effective. And we still have more goats here, and thankfully, thank God I came back in time with this medication
Yeah.
to make sure that we can actually really support the vet effort here. Because when you're a vet, you could be the greatest vet in the world. If you don't have the proper tool and your toolkit, you know, to actually properly serve your animals and make sure that they're being properly taken care of, you're gonna lose. You understand? And you're gonna end up paying for it. And many of our brothers here don't have the money or the financial backing to survive such a barrage. You know, when your animals are dying by the droves, and it's not because you're not vaccinating, it's not because you're not deworming, it's the stuff that you have access to is just not effective. What are we supposed to do? And for those of you out here, you guys know exactly who you are. I know I'm gonna get a lot of hate from a lot of these fake vets here, a lot of hate from a lot of these fake agro-vet stores here, but they just want the money. You understand? Somebody can come to your farm, you know, and I'm not, and this is a systematic problem. You know, here you go, Dr. David. It's not just about medication. Let me share with you guys like a personal story, because listen, I haven't been here. Just give me a few minutes. I need to get this off my chest. I need to get it off my chest because let me give you guys an example, right? Here we are, a farm trying to do everything the right way. We actually started using a doctor for artificial insemination. First time we went wrong, right? We used the right company, we used the right semen that we ordered, right? And this is when we wanted to actually have Duroc pigs here at the farm. What happened? These guys come with the fake semen. You know, we paid the price to get the proper Duroc semen from the university it's supposed to come from. And yet, when the pigs delivered, we got the lowest quality of, like, I don't even know what type of pig that they injected, what type of semen sample they injected into these pigs. But that was a lost batch, right?
You took them for slaughter.
Fast forward to the same thing with the cows. The cows are far harder loss because a cow takes 9 months to deliver. You pay a vet to come to your farm to do the AI for you. You pay for the semen. We pay for sex semen, by the way. which is what, 4 times more expensive than the unsexed semen. Then this guy came to the farm, injected these cows with a bunch of fake semen from regular stock, right? And so you can't trust anybody, you know? So this, I don't want this to turn into a boo-hoo situation. Oh my God, the sky is falling, because it's not. Because whenever there's actual issues, whenever there's chaos, you know what that means? There's opportunity for you. What does that mean? The opportunity exists in this country for real agro-vet shops to come on board, right? I don't care if it's your favorite YouTuber. I don't care where they come from. We need people in this industry that's gonna actually care about what they're selling, not care about how much money they're gonna make, not care about diluting the actual medication that you're buying, because many of them do that. You understand? But people that actually have authentic medication, that their heart is in the right place. We need real vets. I don't care if you're Ugandan, Kenyans. I don't care if you're coming from Ghana. Uganda needs you, because there's so many farmers in this country that have given up. They have thrown their hands up, because if you save 3,000, 5,000 USD, and you guys know it's not easy to come up with that kind of money, for you to buy goats, for you to buy sheep, for you to buy your pigs, for you to invest in cattle, and then here you are with the proper genetics, because that's why we preach here. You understand? And you taking all of the necessary steps, and then you take these animals to your farm, only to find out they're dying one by one simply because you have a bunch of fugazi vets and a whole host of fake medication circulating in the country. And I surely hope this makes it on somebody's phone or their computer, or this makes it onto social media, because as a country, Ugandans and Ugandan farmers and even the Ugandan consumer deserve better. There's no reason why we should be suffering in a country like this. And next door in Kenya, a short flight here from Uganda to Kenya, we're talking 45 minutes. You're not gonna find fake medication on the market there. It's not by magic, right? Yeah, you pay a little bit more money. If that's the case, charge more money, but get real medication into the country. And when people are caught selling counterfeit drugs, and these vets are not really doing their real job by going to the farm, diagnosing what's really wrong with the animals, and by stemming off what could become an outbreak, right? And they know about it early on and they don't do anything about it, then at that point, those people need to be punished. Their licenses need to be taken away, and they should be shamed for what the work that they're doing, better yet the work that they're not doing. I know that was a lot, but I had to get that off my chest.
Thank you so much. And thank you for the medication that you brought for us this time around. At least when we were, unboxing each and everything, David, who is the vet, was really so appreciative of this, majorly this one here, the Maxine.
Yeah, the Maxi.
The Maxi that we used last time, I think Grafton brought it.
Maxi Care, I brought it from South Africa
last time, and it really worked out for us. So it was done. We started now getting from our local sources right here, which really gave us more trouble as well. We thought we were vaccinating things, we were on schedule. Because the time that we really lost so many animals, I sat down with David and we looked through our calendar, our vaccination calendar, to check what we had really missed, what was the problem exactly, but everything was up to date. That really shows that what we were actually using wasn't really the proper vaccinations that we were giving to these goats right here.
And our story is not unique, like the difference is we're gonna tell you about it. Most people, they're going through the same thing, but they'll pretend, they'll try to show you, and many people will go to farms and get videos and pictures of animals that don't belong to them. We don't do that here.
Yeah.
Every animal you see here belongs to Value Farm. And then the beauty about this company here, whenever we face whatever challenge, we tell you guys the truth, the bad, the ugly. And some people like that we do it, and some people hate the fact that we're so transparent, but what can we say? This is who we are, this is what we do, and we do this so that you out there can be aware that when you have these vets come to your farm, like back where I'm from, there's a credo every single doctor, medical practitioner take. First, do no harm. But unfortunately in this country, first, these guys are thinking about first, line your pockets. There's been, even before we got a vet here, and I know the hate is gonna come, but I'm ready for it, because this is facts. I'm not trying to defame anyone or the profession, We all know vets are one of the most important profession in medical practice, period. But the worst thing to do is when you have these vets that wait until you have a crisis. And sometimes they will come to your farm and they know exactly what's going on, but they will never tell you. They'll come to the farm, they could see that, hey, it's pneumonia. Or you dealing with something far more sinister. Something that could be stumped out so quickly. But you know what they'll do? They'll come, they'll pay you, they'll charge you a consultation fee. Some of them want you to even pay them $200-300 before they even leave their office to come to your farm. And when they get to your farm, you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna look, pretend. Some of them don't even come with the proper tools to take any samples, right? They're just gonna say, oh, by visual inspection, this is the problem. And then when you do, they wait for your animals to die first, then they wanna charge you another $150 to do a post-mortem. And after you get the post-mortem, by the time all that stuff is done, something they could have stopped immediately, now you lost 10 goats, maybe 15. Imagine if you only had a flock of 20 goats. Where do you go from there? You know, that literally could take you out of the game just as you're beginning. You understand? It's not right. It should not be this way. And as a collective, there's so many fellow farmers out here. You guys need to speak up. You guys should share your experience. You should tell your neighbors. When you know there's a shiesty vet in your area, don't keep it to yourself. Don't just tell your neighbor, oh, don't let the vet come to your farm. Because that's why people here will tell you, don't let the vets come to your farm, but they'll never tell you why. You understand? So if you know there's a shiesty vet in your area, tell your neighbors. Tell them the reason they shouldn't let that person come to your farm. Because this guy with the fake semen for the cows, you know, I made sure he understood that I know what he did was wrong. And you better believe I made sure everybody that I know who would probably use his services, I made sure that I told them, hey, this guy here in Lorero, this fake vet that's doing artificial insemination, don't ever use him, and here's the reason why. And if more people did exactly that, most of these crooks would not have a place to hide. They would have to go back under the rock where they came from, and our profession would prosper. You understand? And I'm sorry to say, I know it's a lot, but it's true. It's a huge problem, and that's the reason why so many of these farms fail. That's why so many people lose money, and after they get burned, they just walk away from the profession. And it's unfair because, let's face it, in the economy we're in right now, there are so many starving children in this country. You understand? Like when you go up in the village, like right now we're in the village, there are so many kids starving. You understand? Suffering from malnutrition. Not because the parents don't want to feed them, but the price of food is so astronomically high. Do you know, fun fact, which is an awful fact, but it's a fact. I've actually met people here in Uganda, guys, that can only afford to eat meat maybe once or twice a year because the price of meat is so expensive. And Uganda has so much arable land, so many goats and sheep. We don't have enough, true, but there's a reason why we can't get to the numbers that we want. Because the moment you start to grow to scale, we don't have the adequate support from the regulatory board to make sure that these farmers are protected. And unless we fix that, you know, farming shouldn't just be for millionaires and billionaires. This is the last vestige here, right? If you have the will and if you have the passion, if you have a little piece of land, you know, if you start out with 3 chickens or whatever, just like we started here, you should be able to scale up your farm. You should be able to get to a point where you have 100 goats, 500 goats. But you know what? As long as they keep these fake drugs coming into the market, that will never happen for the regular person. Because if we were not here for the right reason, not only to educate you guys, but to share our journey, you know, there's been so many times, especially when it comes to the goat business, where the average person would have probably just walked away. And raising goats should not be this difficult. And it's not when you're in the right place, in the right country, with actual rules and regulations. That's it. I'm done, partner.
Wow, you brought it out really perfectly. Like, I want to share our experience that when we were losing goats that time, when we went to the lab, it took even more than, I think, 5 days for us to get results, which is really very incompetent of people who are really in charge of that. And even still, these very people know the problem, like you've already mentioned. They actually know the problem,
but they won't tell you.
They will not tell you. And even they know the medication, and even they know where you can actually get the correct medication to prevent all this. So when I was talking to one of the people around, and he was like, oh, I'm just telling you this because you're my sister, because you know what, I watch you from YouTube. What about someone that you don't know about? How is that person going to suffer? Because you gave us the remedy, because you directed us where to buy these medications from. What about someone else who is just starting off but has no idea? That means the person is just going to give up on the business. That is one of the problems that we face here. People are not honest enough. They want the money. And he was really very honest with me. He was like, you know what, other vets will not tell you this, but this is what you're supposed to do. And of course, if my colleagues really had me that I was telling you what you're supposed to do, they would be so mad at me. I was in shock. I remember even calling and I told you the same story. I was like, okay, this gentleman had to tell me this, which is really so absurd. So for people out there that in case you really know what to do, just help other farmers as well. Because the more farmers that we have here, the better. Because we don't want people to always just give up on projects and we really live in poverty forever.
Guys, let me just leave you with this because I know the guys got to get back to work. But when I first got to South Africa, man, what an eye-opener. The majority of you out there that are watching this here, this is what I hope you get from watching this video. In South Africa, the wealthiest people in that country, it's not the doctors, it's not the lawyers, not the engineers, not even the politicians. Yes, the politicians have their ways of gifting themselves a lot of cash from the people. But I'm talking about the farmers. When you go, the deeper you go to the villages in South Africa, the richer those farmers are. Now, it's not all rosy because they still have to deal with people trying to steal their livestock. There's still land issues, but the ones that have it working for them, these guys have their entire family set. And I have not yet met a farmer in South Africa that was not a 5th generation, 4th generation, 3rd, 2nd generation farmer. Now, this is true. Many of them came into the land by means that we're not so proud of, right? But I've also met a lot of actual local South Africans that are not white, that are not Afrikaans, so to speak, that are actually doing tremendously well in the world of farming. And the same could be true here in East Africa, because the truth is we have the best soil, we have the best weather, we have more than enough rain, and we have enough young people that have the energy and the intelligence and the work ethic to become multi-millionaires. I'm talking dollars, not shillings, right? It could be done here. But the tragedy, every single farmer who starts out here and they don't get out the gate properly, that's a whole generation of wealth that's being left behind. And it's happening simply because the farmers here, we need more help, we need more support, and we need to actually have a proper blueprint from how to start, from point A, and how to get to the very end. So that way, if you can feed your family, send your kids to school through farming, then one of your kids might decide like, hey, I also want to be in this business. But if your kids grow up seeing daddy losing everything, struggling, can't put food on the table, yeah, he or she are actually in the field growing food, trying to raise livestock, and they can't make it, then these kids will never get into farming. And that's actually the mindset right now. So many of these young kids here in Uganda rather go make $600 a month in Kampala, and they have more than 100 acres of land back in their villages where they could be making tens and tens of thousands of dollars every quarter or every season in farming. But they refuse because all they have seen is failure, roadblocks. And I hope this gets through to you guys, and I hope we actually save maybe 1 or 2 farmers who are on the brink of quitting. Welcome back to the fold. Just understand, guys, we here with you. The struggle continue, but as long as you don't quit, we shall overcome.
Wow, thank you so much, guys. I hope you've really picked 1 or 2 things from this video. We really appreciate Grafton for all that knowledge.
So forgive me.
Yeah, I know he's not feeling perfect, but when he starts talking, it's all information coming out right here. But really appreciate all that, and at least you've helped 1 or 2 farmers out there.
I hope so.
So for those who have not really checked out our social media platform, please go to Instagram. It is Value Farm UG. Facebook, Value Farm, TikTok, Value Farm. Go see behind the scenes, go see what we are actually doing at Value Farm as well, and get some inspiration right there. But we appreciate you all. Subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Till next time, bye.
Au revoir.